I think it's a very important fight for local municipalities to have the power to protect their citizens against what they perceive to be risks. And the standard that's being fought about here should not be controversial. There's a minimum standard that people ought to know for how they use their cell phones. And what we know is Berkeley citizens don't know that. They don't know the risks, they don't know the standard they ought to be living to. So all this is about is giving them the information that the government already mandates.
Well, and in your first statement, you said this is about Berkeley protecting its citizens, but it's not even that grand, right? It's just, here is a piece of paper, read it. Why is this so difficult?
Well, what's happening in a lot of different contexts, this is just one, is that when cities or states try to act to protect their citizens, they're being threatened by industry that has a very large budget to be suing to stop them from trying to protect their citizens. And many states, many municipalities are becoming fearful of stepping up and trying to resist that. And so what we did is put together a little team that said, we will defend you for free. We will defend this ordinance if it gets challenged, just so that it establishes this principle that they ought to have the power to be protecting their own citizens.
Why do you feel so strongly? Why are you willing to give your services for free?
Well, I think as a law professor, I have a certain duty to help where I can, pro bono, so that's part of it. It's also because I think that the First Amendment, which is the central claim that's being used to stop this regulation, is really being perverted by people who are turning it into a device for forcing deregulation into the system rather than a device for protecting real humans when they try to express their views and be part of the political process.
And is it more than a constitutional issue for you, or this hiding behind the First Amendment? Do you believe that cell phones are dangerous, or that we shouldn't be carrying them against our bodies?
Well, I believe that certainly we should be complying with the safety rules that are already in place. And the work that I've done at Harvard has been about what we call institutional corruption, which is, where you've got an industry or an institution that begins to be influenced by the sort of influence that undermines the integrity of that process. And what we've seen with so many devices and products over the course of the last 100 years is that there begins to be a question about them. Then there's a lot of contested science. But when you separate the contested science between those that's industry funded and those that's not industry funded, basically the industry funded finds everything's okay and the non-industry funded finds nothing is okay. And it takes 10 or 15 years and eventually we discover that in fact there was a problem, even though this industry science said that there wasn't. And I have a sense that this is deja vu all over again.
That little tiny thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That's all it is.
And it says, on a piece of paper, 5 by 8.
Yeah.
So those words, but we don't know the form yet. It could be a sign in the store. It could be
It's quite a big crowd tonight.
Yeah.
Where do you think everyone's come out here?
I think they're out here just to support the right to know. They want to know the truth and know what's going on, and just make sure that the city of Berkeley does the right things so that other cities will do the same.
Jared Keegan, CTI, the Wireless Association, in opposition to this item because it will mislead consumers and is unlawful. All of the agencies that have looked at this issue, whether it be the FDA, the FCC, or the WHO, have determined that there are no known adverse health effects from cell phone use. In fact, cell phone solely use have been deemed safe by federal regulators.
The world is watching what you do tonight. And you have an opportunity to do the right thing for yourselves, for your children, and your grandchildren.
Yes. Moore?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Aragine?
Yes.
Capitelli?
Yes.
Wingrad?
Yes.
Worthington?
Yes.
Frosty?
Yes.
Mayor Bates?